Hi guys, so I just want to make a video addressing this comment. Case take it down. The comment says, instead of one world order, variety is the spice of life. Sovereign nations and cultures make us all better. So I know I've kind of addressed this before, but I just want to make a video on it, on why I view this as false. And one of my main points actually is that when we say diversity is great, it lets us know different opinions, different cultures, it enriches our lives. But for most people, different cultures, different religions, it goes against their very beliefs and their very core. And you can see it in my comments that since I'm discussing a new idea on what I think, and that most of the people, it's a different view from theirs, instead of just saying, I don't think you're right, but I respect your opinion, or trying to debate with me, which some of you have done and I'm grateful for. I love debating. But a lot of people come at me personally because a lot of what people don't realize is that when someone holds a different view of you, you cannot comprehend that someone has a different view from themselves. They just think this is the way it should be because this is the way it is. So if someone has a different view, and you see my comments, they call me insane. They say, one of them even said, oh, your mother must have drank when you were in the womb, or you're mentally insane, you're a psychopath, you're a narcissist. So they're coming up with these reasons, not what's wrong with my argument, but what's wrong with me that would cause this argument. And to me, these people are the perfect example of why diversity isn't good. And I am not supporting what the US does, which is assimilate. It assimilates different cultures into their own. What I'm proposing is a new culture that is agreed upon by society, a new language, a new culture, a new society that is homogeneous. That means that it is the same across all ways of life. And I said, as technology grows, we can make it so that everybody, no matter where they live, has the same exact conditions. So that creates homogeneity, and that creates one single way. Now, I'm not saying we should suppress dissident views, and I'm not saying that. I believe dissident views are amazing because it helps us debate, and the only reason I actually have these ideas is because of distant views. Because I used to be like a lot of people in these comments. I used to believe the way the world is because it's natural and this is the way it should be. But because of being in university and learning critical thinking and learning different ideas, especially in philosophy, I realized that there are different views. And that these views help me re-educate myself from what society has taught me. And to help realize that something they taught me is false, and to come to my own conclusions and my own truth. And now, I'm not saying, I do think I'm correct, but I am willing for debate, and I am willing to admit I'm wrong. And I'm willing to admit that people do have different opinions, and that's okay. And they have different opinions for some reasons. Now, I have criticized some of those opinions and tried to help that, because sometimes, and what gets me the most is when people go, I think you're ugly, and then they say it online, and then I made a video about, I just don't like these comments out there. People you just need to respect their opinion. This is, I think it's quintessential Americanism, is that free speech allows you to disrespect others and be rude to others. And that's why when I say I'm not an advocate of free speech, that's the exact reason. Because I do think people should be able to express their views, but they should not be able to attack people based on personal things that they cannot control. And I believe, now yes, when people make comments like this, I can argue with them, but I can respect his opinion. I may think it's wrong. And the same thing I'm saying, when you respect someone's opinion, it's basically, I accept that you have a wrong opinion. And that's the main thing with religion and stuff like that. It's not that I'm saying I hate it. And I love diversity. I love exploring different cultures and different way of lives, and I think it's important. And I'm not saying wipe out history. I think this is important to know, and important history to know, because I love learning about my ancestors and the way of life was for them, even though it's completely different from the way my life is. And even though I couldn't live the way of life, I can respect it and I can admire it. And that's what I'm proposing, because I don't think there's been a correct way, because I live in Canada, and we are what we call, we're not a melting pot like America. We call ourselves a mosaic, so a bunch of different cultures. But what that does is a lot of Canadians are divided, and it's one thing that Americans criticize against us, and it's true, is that because of this, we don't have a Canadian identity. And it's like America say, I'm an American, but I'm from India. In Canada, you go, I live in Canada, but I'm Indian. Because they still hold on to the beliefs. And that's also what can be a lot of it can be a lot of conflict. And there is, like, you should see bumper stickers. It just describes how much conflict there is. And people, like, how much violence has there been? Violent, especially from even historical figures, is that the kind of a lot of root causes are people don't like your opinion and they don't want to express your opinion, so they try and silence you. And a lot of that is in wars. There's been religious wars, trying to get rid of a religion, and the whole World War II was all about trying to get rid of the Jewish religion, and it even made it to try and say Jewish people are different. That's also why my last video about race is a social construct, because we come up with things to make people different, so then we don't have to treat them like us. We make it, because when you say, oh, well, someone's different from me, then that means we don't have to treat them the same. And it's why some point, like egalitarianism, that helps against it. Because the thing is, equity, people all promote equity now, but what equity does is it tries to say, well, because I'm from this background, or because of or because of what has happened to me, it means I deserve better than you. And because of historical things, I deserve better than you, or because I'm smarter than you, I deserve better than you. And it kind of promotes this inequality. And it's why equality, of course, there is a certain amount of equity in egalitarianism. Because obviously, if you're in a wheelchair, you can't have a house made for people that aren't in a wheelchair, because you can't get anything. So there needs to be special things to help people, but it doesn't mean that you get to treat them differently. It just provides accommodation. And that's what I think is what we're really lacking in this world, is we're trying to separate people when we should say we're all human. This person may have a little bit of different from us, but that doesn't mean they should not be treated equally, and they should not be given the same rights and the same respect as you give to other people. And this is what I wanted to make this comment about, to hopefully try and get some critical thinking out there, and to make people believe that even though this is what you've been taught, doesn't mean it's correct.